Today on the Gebs 24, the £100 Xbox game that I never knew existed, and the hunt for Bullet Witch. What can we find? Let's find out. In this CEX we're about to go to, which is in Sutton, I've travelled quite a way to get here, they had a copy of Bullet Witch when I checked online last week. So I thought I'd nip in, have a look, because it's one that I've been after, and if it's not in very good condition, you know, the case, the manual, etc., they can clean the disc, so that's fine. I'm not going to bother, and that's assuming they still have it in. I think it's a great time to buy PS3 and Xbox 360, and you and I, and certainly a lot of the shops that I've been to with the owners, we've had a lot of conversation about how there's going to be a massive price hike in PS3 and 360. So the goal today is to come back with Bullet Witch, and fingers crossed we can get some really cool stuff. So let's go take a look. This is usually a really good CEX with retro games cartridge based stuff as well. So fingers crossed we get some bangers in today's episode. It really is a beautiful day. I love the fact that spring is coming. It makes my mental health feel so much better. So I'm sharing a positive gratitude with you in this one as well. Already clocking bangers in here. We got Lollipop Chainsaw in, which I've got. Shadow Hearts I don't own. What else we got? That looks like a nice crispy minty copy of My Brothers and Duck Hunter, so that's cool. But again, this one does usually have, oh, that's cool as well. That would look really nice in the lady lounge. But no, this place does have really good retro. Oh, and that Mario there, I have him. I found him in a charity shop years ago for £3.50. So you can get bargains. Go. Bullet Witch. It might actually be behind the counter. No, I thought that was it then, guys. Unfortunately, oh no. Doesn't look like they've got it in, but we'll ask anyway. Oh, that sucks. One thing they have got in is this double case. Where is it? Totally lost it. It's there. Check this. So they've got Bioshock and Elder Scrolls 4 for only £3. Never knew they did a double case of that. That's pretty sweet. See, I think it's things like that that are going to be worth something in years to come. I saw this as well, Burnout, the Ultimate Box. Never seen that box variant, which is strange. Let me know, but that's £3 as well. But they have some really good stuff in here. The 360 section goes for what seems like miles. So far, no Bullet Witch. We haven't done yet, Team 24. So, clocked this. Shift 2 Unleashed. Never heard of that. It's wedged in with the Need for Speed stuff. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Call of Duty games seem to be coming like the landfill, same as FIFA basically. So you just see them everywhere. More bangers here. We got some God of War 3. That's not bad for £6. That is not bad at all. And how iconic is that box art as well? So in terms of your cartridge based, it's a decent selection, nothing major. That's dropped in price a little bit. We got some decent PS1 games as well. This tends to go, I mean, it's £50. It's not really a great game. That I really do not enjoy it, but what else we got on the Dreamcast here? Not bad. But yeah, look at that. FIFA 19 as well. Oh my god, Bullet Witch is there. Bullet Witch is there. Okay, we've got it. They've got it in. They've got it in. Yes. And when did CEX start taking board games? It is the 1989 version, condition poor. Wow. And it turns out they've got some nice stuff in here as well. SeaWorld Adventures in at 45 quid. A very healthy PSP collection in here, including the UMDs. The CEX that we're in is in Sutton, in case you missed it in the beginning, and they always have an incredible selection of PS3 and cartridge-based stuff, Xbox 360. I've been on a bit of a 360 kick as well as a Master System kick, funnily enough, recently, but mainly Xbox 360 because in one of the kind of reorganising episodes I did about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we did bring the 360, one of my 360s downstairs, and for anything that's not backwards compatible, it's been great just to pop that in and hook it up to the nice flat screen that we've got in. Spinning around in this store to the lovely PS3 stuff, actually I was like, do I get this? Because like I have all of the Assassin's Creed games, but I was debating on getting the double case ones because that's the collector in me, but then I was like, no. What I'm trying to do is just stop spending money on games that I already have, unless it's something like a Super Nintendo variant, for example, Mario Kart. You have the blue and the red case. I will happily spend on different variations of Super Nintendo. But in terms of PS3, unless it's like something like Tomb Raider, a really, really popular franchise, I'm not massively fussed. So you saw the double case of the Assassin's Creed back there. Put it straight back, wasn't massively bothered, but I did like to have a good sift through here because there's anything that I don't have or that I really fancy. I picked up Sonic Generations there, for example. I own it. Just scanning down to the T's again, sucker for a flipping racer. Unfortunately, I didn't pick that one up, and I'm now kicking myself during the edit, wishing that I did, but that's okay because I can go back. Now, Shell Shock, this was an interesting one because I don't own that, and I remember Shell Shock on the PlayStation 1, and it was a game that my brother and I played quite a lot. You can also get Shell Shock on the Sega Saturn. So I was like, is it actually from the same vein of the Shell Shock on the PlayStation 1? I actually don't know. If you could like let me know and enlighten me on that, that would be amazing. And then obviously I can just pop back to this next time I'm in this particular area. It's quite a drive from where I am. And if I'm back, I'm there. If not, I can add it to my CEX list for another one that I do go in. We've got some really nice episodes coming up. There's 2 CEXs in particular in a city that is close-ish to me that I'm going to be going to soon. One of them, CEXs, is absolutely massive and it's always incredibly rewarding. So beware, that episode is coming soon. And in fact, there's really good stuff coming up. So brace yourselves and subscribe. Guys, we spoke about this recently. Oh my God. 13 disc Transformers Classic Animated Collection. It is all on YouTube, so 4 seasons, 95 episodes, 2,040 minutes. Mate, there you go, 28 quid. Guys, check that, never knew that existed. 100 quid for Frankie Dettori Racing. Some bangers on the back. So guys, we've got it here. Sadly, it's got no manual, so I did want it complete. It's really hard to get in like complete condition. Other than that, the box is really nice, so we're going to leave it. Thank you so much for getting that out. I appreciate it. Didn't have manual, so I didn't bother picking it up. I thought if I'm going to get it, I do want it complete. But like I said, like you should have seen, other than that, it was in really good condition. So we go on to the next. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video. many days later, after seeing Frankie Dettori on the original Xbox for 100 sheets in CX. Two things. One, I never knew it existed. And my second question is, why do games such as Frankie Dettori Racing and the likes of, you know, the crazy obscure Barbie game that we saw down at Console Yourself cost an absolute fortune? The Barbie game was like 1,400 quid, and that's cheap, believe it or not. Why do these crap games cost an absolute fortune? Is it because of like low print run numbers? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to show you some cool things in here. We've got some bits to organise. It's going to be a very relaxed second half of the episode, so I hope you guys can buckle up. And if you've been paying attention, we've had a really massive, huge clean out in here. I've got another bits to sell as well. I think I'm going to sell my PS1 screen, you know, that kind of flip screen. I think I'm going to sell that. I've got one box to go unboxed for about 130 quid. So yeah, we got big things coming, you see, and I want to just get rid of stuff that is literally just sat that I'm never going to use. I just bought back in the day, you know. So I think I might get rid of that. But anyway, check these out, what I've got recently. Got some new Yoshi eggs. We're going to be putting these away as well. But we got the green, we got an orange, we got a pink, we got a red, and we got a blue down there in the corner. Pretty darn cool. And I'm also having my logo made as well. So they are from, shout out to Retro Rugs, I did pay for them, got them shipped. It's not sponsored, I just think I love my rugs. If you've seen the ones up in the Lady Loft, I've got Pikachu, I've got Kirby, I've got a Mario mushroom, I have a question mark block from Super Mario, and I just love them, so I cannot wait to get my logo. I actually might move the eggs upstairs. So in the last episode, I did do the kind of second half of the episode with loads of pickups. Now I've got some bits that we need to kind of chuck on the shelf. Now I actually had an unboxed copy of Legend, and I've got some on. My friend, shout out to Sean on Instagram, who I kind of reach out to if I've got anything Super Nintendo seconds. He does tend to kind of buy them off me, but if not, I'll always chuck them on the Discord or on Facebook, all linked in description. Now I don't want to kind of over encumber this, and someone said to me recently, like, why do you stack like this and not, you know, the other way? And that's because I can get more Super Nintendo games on here. And of course, space is a huge issue. I'm not going to harp on too much about space. We all know the burden of the lack of space when you've got an absolute monster of a collection. But I think what I am going to do is I'm going to have to just put this. Let's have a look. I'm just kind of see. I mean, I might actually chuck it. Not chuck it. I want the price off. Let me get the price off. Come on, price. Come on, price. There we go. That's better. So it's in the box now. You can see where I've got, there's a little bit of residue, but we've moved the price off it. So there's like the controller here. I could kind of shift the controller out and put that beauty there. And then we've got a little bit of thing for the controller. Maybe I can just chuck that there. That looks cool. That looks really cool, actually. That looks really cool. I've always loved the Super Nintendo controller boxes. Let's just take a minute. I remember seeing these in Woolworths back in the day. And I think that looks really cool there. It's just kind of sitting in with the console collection. And speaking of, I've been thinking, I have the Street Fighter 2 Super Nintendo variant down here. It is that, yes, it is. And I'm thinking, because it's so battered, I might actually buy that and sell that. So I'm kind of essentially upgrading the quality of the box that I've got. I'm pretty happy with all of the other consoles that I do have in terms of condition, aside from this massive bit of tape here across the Killer Instinct box. Cardinal sin. Back in the day we used to put tape on boxes. But as far as this goes, might actually, in fact I'm going to upgrade it. And I've seen one recently and I didn't pick it up. But note to self, I will upgrade it, definitely. And just a little bit of a plug, I've got some really nice new additions to Super Nintendo stuff coming in. Consoles are going to be coming in. It's going to be great. All will be revealed next month. First things first, when we're in the Lady Loft, we need to plug the heater in because it's flipping cold here in the UK at the minute. Crikey. All right, this is sketchy. So sketchy. Woo! Sketchy as everyone always comments like how they think I'm going to fall down these stairs. I hope I don't, obviously. But one thing I am not going to allow myself to do is, aside from that, is not going to let things build up. So what I tend to have a habit of doing is when I go out and say like a gaming market hunt, I'll come back and I'll make a pile of games and I don't do anything with them for weeks because I'm so tired and I have to like edit. But when I'm doing it here, they've actually fallen down, so we'll put them back. These are things we've just got to kind of find a little home for. That can go downstairs. Again, in the last episode, you've seen these pickups anyway. And then obviously I want to talk to you about this, but we'll save this story for the next few minutes. So, a few bits on the shelf, and I've done that awful thing that I said I wouldn't do in a few episodes ago with that. There's a little drawer down there, and I've had literally like no choice but to stack a few of the more recent PS4 and PS5 games I've got. One, it's easy to access when I'm on stream. I've got like PS4 and PS5 capability right there. So things like Monster Hunter that I've just bought, that's gone in there. Thinking about streaming it, it is literally right there. Put some other PS4 stuff down at the bottom there, which is alphabetized. Now we have some really nice PS3 stuff, and I'm determined to actually put these out. So what it might mean is just shifting these Borderlands around just a frack, just an absolute frack, and maybe having them just, oh, that's not, can't have them like that. We can't have them like that. So what I might do is fit these in alphabetized. Let's go. So yeah, definitely going to be keeping better tabs on the games, making sure everything is on the shelves after certain hunts. What I'm not going to do is, like I said, just have games piled up all over the place. Everything's going to go on the shelf. And again, I'm going to be going through additional things, collector's editions in particular, and doing some upcoming trades. Right, it'll do. We've had to lean these three here, but that's absolutely fine. Anyway, coming back to this, in the last episode, I asked if this was backwards compatible on the Series X. Everybody was quick to tell me that it wasn't backwards compatible on the Series X, which is fine because we have got an Xbox 360 downstairs in the Lady Loft lounge. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually think that this case is a bit battered. So I have a question, like, where would you say the best place is to buy replacement cases? Xbox 360 and PS3 in particular, I'm finding at the minute the cases are absolutely diabolical. So if there's like, I mean, obviously you can ask them in the shops, and I do from time to time, but a lot of what they have out the back have been replaced for better cases. So like the best cases are out, the worst cases are in the back. Worst case scenario, that is for me. So unfortunately, I'm really struggling, and this is really annoying as well because you can see from like, I think it's like previous CX, what even is that? There's no way of even getting that up. There's no way of even saving that. You can see the damage, the residue there. That is a crying shame. So I'm going to get a replacement case for this, and I'm going to get the disc cleaned as well. But it is a nice hidden gem, sadly not backwards compatible, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Team 24. We've got a lovely little space for it right down there. So the good news is all the games are off the floor downstairs, they're off the floor in here. Couple of magazines to shift. We'll take Forgotten Worlds down. The magazines again. Gonna put these away. I don't really buy magazines, but I did get this copy of Edge because I'm a huge Doom girl. In fact, I'm gonna take that down and read it in the living room. And you guys know about the story of this, which I mentioned in the last episode. I'm not going to rehash it, but all the games are off the floor. Now it's time to tell you about my Super Metroid saga, if you would. We'll tell you about the saga. All right, let's shift the face hugger out the way and kind of gather around here a little bit. So we have the player's guide here. This is story time with Jen, okay? As you can see, my player's guide and the gamers downstairs is pretty battered. So when I was in the Vintage Gamer episode, Nick had a large box of Super Metroid, and there was a little sticker on the side and it had the price on. So I was like, okay. And I showed it on camera and I was getting like really, really excited about it. I was like, I think I'm gonna buy this. I think I need to sell my guide and to sell my cartridge and then upgrade, okay? So I go to pay and it's like, you know what, that's sold. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I got that awful, awful feeling where I felt like, I've lost. And I know that's stupid because I have the guide and I have the actual game. But it was that collector in me that was just like, felt that awful, awful stomach punch. So I was chatting away with Callum and he said he's going to sell me his. Anyway, long story short, some things have kind of come up for me and I've got an opportunity to buy some brand new Super Nintendo console variants, foreign console variants. So that is going to be happening next month. And of course, they're very expensive. So I said to myself, do I really need to buy the big box Super Metroid? And I said to myself, no. So before I tell you what I've done, I just want to talk about this. So when I initially sold my collection many, many years ago in 2011, I restarted collecting again in 2014. You can see how bad the video quality is here. It's awful. It was filmed on a really old MacBook. But what actually happened was me and Jess actually traded something from an old school friend of mine who gave me his Super Nintendo collection. And in it was this exact player's guide and the game. So I kind of said to myself, I actually don't want to let this go. And I don't want to let the cartridge go because it's symbolic of me restarting collecting and restarting YouTube in March of 2014. In fact, it is 11 years to the month that I've been back on this platform where I had 1,900 and something subscribers. And we're now approaching 89,000 or something to that effect. So I was like, I'm quite attached to this because it's symbolic of my first video back and it was an old school friends and I don't want to let it go. So here's what I've done and here's where the cardinal sin for a collector has been commit. Yesterday, I marched myself over to Etsy and I actually bought a reproduction Super Metroid big box with the insert, which I don't mind if the insert's reproduction because who cares, it's not branded. So I have that coming and I said, you know what, I'm happy with that. I'm not a huge Super Metroid kind of girl anyway. We didn't play it that much, so the nostalgia's not as powerful. However, this is really nostalgic because I did trade it with Tom and it does symbolise that moment 11 years ago, coming back onto YouTube with the worst possible production value ever. And I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm kind of just like, I'm happy where I'm at in terms of Super Metroid. And I want to know something from you guys. Let's have a little debate in the chat. Reproduction, like boxes. Do you ever have like original cartridges and you really struggle to kind of complete it for CIB? So you just go, do you know what? I'll go for reproduction. I've done that on a few manuals with my NTSC Super Nintendo stuff and I'm totally fine with it because I'm not selling them, they're not going anywhere, but it makes it a bit more tangible for me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. That's a little bit of iconic Gemma history with the Super Metroid saga. Now here's something else that's been really kind of thrashing around within the debate synapses of my brain. Magic the Gathering. Oh, by the way, the heat is on in the background, so if there's a little hum, just ignore it. So I went through this insane phase of buying lots of Magic the Gathering cards. As you can see here, we have a pre-release pack for Dungeons and Dragons. I also have some, and I love Lord of the Rings, got the Lord of the Rings pre-release pack. I have the, where's my start decks? My starter decks are over there for Lord of the Rings. Now, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings girl, so I'm definitely not going to be getting rid of them. But I also have, and this is nothing, right? So these are all like green, so Forest, Magic the Gathering cards. And I'm like, I've gone through this debate for the last maybe year. I've got a whole box of them downstairs. Is, do I sell them? Do I sell them? Now, I've came to the astounding conclusion that I'm not going to sell my Magic the Gathering cards. What I'm actually going to do is try and find some time in my life to play again, because in my car there are deck boxes after pre-built deck boxes after pre-built deck boxes that I have played with for quite some time and I love them. However, I've forgotten how to play, and I do like to play with experienced players so they can literally baby me through it and go, actually no, Gemma, why don't you play that instant or use that enchantment on this creature because it's going to buff it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I find Magic a little bit perplexing, but very rewarding. I find playing Pokemon trading card game is a lot easier, and it's not as rewarding, but I do find it easier. So I am keeping all my Magic the Gathering cards, and I am going to continue to put the singles in folders downstairs. In fact, I might go and do that after I finish filming this episode with a nice cup of tea, whilst I am putting, I don't know, 1986 Transformers on or something like that. So that is another one of my weird fascinations, and I actually forgot I had the Dungeons & Dragons pre-release packs. I think pre-release packs are really cool. And of course, being a huge Lord of the Rings girl, I love the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering cards as well. Yay! So now I have my starter decks, Lord of the Rings, safely in the deck box where they belong. So we're going to keep them bad boys together, which leaves all of these, which are it's just mana cards. No shiny though, sadly. I just like the artwork, to be put away somewhere.